Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another AlphaStar 1 versus 1 commentary. We have got ourselves Alpha T in the top left today. And taking on Alpha T, probably going to be on the receiving end of a lot of Banshees. It is a Masters Protoss player. So here we are into the next AlphaStar Best of 3. The last one we did, it had some ups and downs. It was a bit of a roller coaster. AlphaStar kind of derping a little bit, if I recall. And then, yeah, AlphaStar derping a little bit, humans derping a little bit. That's usually how it goes a little bit. That's usually how it goes for the most part in these videos. It's usually AlphaStar will do something really dumb, and then humanity will come along and be like, "Oh, I can top that." And well, no, I really shouldn't say dumb, but definitely not optimal sometimes is what we see in a lot of these AlphaStar commentaries, and that's part of the reason I am excited to get into the higher level AlphaStar matches soon. Which I'm not sure how many we've got left to go, but it's getting close. It's getting close, and I'll be excited to cast some of the pro games again. And then once again, if you guys do have any questions you'd maybe like to ask about AlphaStar, I'm actually gonna try and see if I can get someone on to basically, so that we can basically pick their brain a little bit about AlphaStar. Now, let's take a look here. We have got the Masters Protoss player going for a Gateway Cybercore Nexus, so the safer macro build. All the while, the Terran AlphaStar going to be just going for a usual Reaper expand. Nothing is out of the ordinary this game. However, ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how we have got... Oh, I got to pick a random thing here. All right, so the map King's Cove has... What's that, 5 letters in it? No, 9 letters. And if we count the LE, that's 11 letters. So let's try and go for 11 likes on this video. If we can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. Show that you guys love some AlphaStar. And let's take a look. Reaper going to be moving out across the map for AlphaStar. We'll see how many kills it gets. I think it was actually the last video of AlphaStar I did, which the Reaper killed like 5 workers. We'll see if that can happen again. That could definitely happen again. Oh, let's see. The first adept is just barreling across the map for the Protoss player. However, now probes are going to be under fire since the adept wasn't back home to help defend. The Reaper has already killed 2 workers. Is it going to get out, though? The answer is yes. Oh, no! The Masters player, not a master at making walls, apparently, let the Reaper slip through his base. The adept for AlphaStar gets across the map. But we see there's already the command center done. Fresh meal did just drop for AlphaStar, which could get picked off. That's quite a big loss for the Terran. That's like 270 odd resources gone or so. Then the adept might even kill a worker. So that's actually really good for the Masters player. However, at the same time, what's not really good is a Reaper just going to be killing all your workers, I said. Hopefully the Reaper doesn't get 5 kills again. We could certainly be looking at that, as AlphaStar's Reaper is going for a 4th probe right now. Probe's pulling to try and do something about it. Nope, not able to do anything about it. They're just probes. Oh, the Reaper does actually just escape too. It's a madman, killing 4 workers already. The adept of the Masters player is being a pain, but I don't think it's got damage done to justify losing 4 probes this early on. The Protoss player is already behind AlphaStar on workers, and I get the feeling they will never be ahead of AlphaStar on workers again. We see Blink is on the way for the Masters player, quite a reasonable timed Blink. A couple more gateways getting thrown up too, so definitely more than the average bit of pressure, but he's cutting probes a little bit to do this. We gotta see probes being made all the time. Blink Stalkers, of course, are good against defending Banshees, however, we'll see if the Protoss player is actually prepared to deal with the Banshees, whether he'll have his Stalkers in position, a Robo, and then an Observer. We do see a Robo has been started. Yeah, Robo's been started. I mean, the Protoss player is still making probes. We should be seeing a 3rd base go up soon, assuming he's not just going to go all in against AlphaStar. Stalkers are even moving out towards the 3rd base location, so that is good for the Protoss player to defend that. If we do take a look, though, I mean, yeah, it's looking pretty darn good for AlphaStar already, just being ahead on workers, getting up tanks, banshees, making the Marines. Stalkers are going to start moving out for the Masters player, so not going to be in position to defend himself. The Stalkers are taking different paths, though, so there's a chance they'll be able to run right into this Banshee. That would be a very, very good pick-off for the Masters player if he can spot the Banshee, who ran right by it. I think the Stalkers should have seen that. He didn't react, though, so is he getting ready to deal with this Banshee? I'm not sure. He's just focused on pushing across the map with his Stalkers. He fires up a Robo. There's no third base yet. No shield batteries. He just warped in a couple Zealots and a Sentry, which is kind of odd, seeing as how he hasn't even started charge yet. Stalkers for the Protoss player are going to get the Siege Tank, which is really nice. The Reaper, trying to be clutch, dives on in and attacks those Stalkers, but at the same time, we see the Banshee flies on in for AlphaStar, is going to force these probes off the mineral line, and Observer is out, so a couple Stalkers could be warped in to help deal with this. Looks like the choice, though, will be to recall the existing Stalkers to get the Banshee. The Banshee might even take a Stalker with it, though. Oh my gosh, AlphaStar's Banshees are just so godly. It will end up getting cleaned up, though, so that's quite nice for the Protoss player. What's not nice, though, is the fact that he never started a third base when he definitely should have. We're 6 minutes into the game. Protoss is either doing a 2-base all-in or has expanded by now most of the time. And AlphaStar is ahead on workers, so we're just going to be seeing another bop, guys. I don't know what to tell you. AlphaStar has established the fact that it's super dominant in macro, in TVP against Protoss players, because their macro just falls to pieces when they're getting Alpha Banshee. Now we take a look. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way for the Protoss player. There is always a chance he could build up a good army and take a good fight against AlphaStar. The odds of that, I'll give him like 5% odds. Yeah, not the horse I'd bet on. There's always a chance, though. So you're telling me there's a chance? I'll say yes. There's a very small chance. The third base still hasn't started. The Masters player does decide to throw up 3 more gateways. Maybe he's just gearing up for a big old 2-base Colossus all-in or something, which I wouldn't mind. If he is going to go for this, though, I'd like to see Charge get out. Yeah, no third base started yet for the Masters player. He's just getting out his Colossus. AlphaStar just scanned to check for the third base. Sees that there is indeed no third base started yet. A probe, just dreaming big, waiting to call in that Nexus. And there we go. A very, very delayed Nexus for the Masters player. All the while, AlphaStar incredibly oversaturated on its natural. That's fine, though, because it's going to be able to transfer them over to its third base soon. We see the AI with a good siege tank count already. Army supply in the lead for the AI. Workers in the lead for the AI by far. Stim packs on the way. +1, extra barracks, all that good stuff. This is going to be a long road for the Masters player to win this game, I feel. For now, the Masters player has a probe in the top right, which is actually interesting. I wonder if this is a misclicker, if that's intentional. Banshee comes in to harass the couple of Stalkers, and Sentry will help zone it away, though, so that gets cleaned up. Nicely done by the Masters player. He throws up double forges as well, so I mean, getting both your upgrades going is good. However, I'm still just concerned by the economic deficit. I mean, take a look. It's 130 supply to 90. 40 supply lead for AlphaStar, and there hasn't actually been that much that's happened this game. Well, I guess the Banshee's killed 16 probes. That's quite a bit. I mean, other than just that one line of harassment for AlphaStar, though, it's like the Protoss player hasn't had to deal with too much. I guess the Reaper, the Banshees, and then just AlphaStar is generally better macro. Look at all these tanks getting set up for AlphaStar. Just so many siege tanks. We see that there is indeed another factory going up because AlphaStar says, you know what, I gotta make even more siege tanks because I am a siege tank bot. I understand how good siege tanks are. Now we take a look. There is indeed a photon cannon on the way for the Masters player. There is 1-1 on the way. Templar Archives coming out. Stalker's getting into position to zone away this Banshee. That's quite good for the Masters player. We are seeing supplies building up for both players. I mean, once that Colossus count hits like 4 or 5, that could be very good if the Masters player just keeps building Colossus, because AlphaStar doesn't really make a specific counter to Colossus. Siege tanks are generally pretty good against them. Yes, however, they are not the most optimal unit. AlphaStar very rarely makes Vikings to counter Colossus, so Mass Colossus wouldn't be bad at all from the Masters player. Particularly if you can catch AlphaStar out on the map with, say, his Blink Stalkers and Colossus before the tanks are sieged up, that would be gold for the Masters player. And he's also getting Psystorm, I'll say. So there's always a chance that the Masters player is going to be able to take a very good fight to win this game. He's got his 1-1 upgrades on the way. No 4th base just yet, and AlphaStar is securing its 4th base. But, I mean, Colossus, Psystorm, if AlphaStar gets caught out, which we haven't ever really seen happen to it, there is indeed a chance that the Masters player could win this game. The thing that concerns me, though, is that the Masters player is going to basically say, do or die, just do or die, you're here for a ride, basically. And AlphaStar is, and he's just going to, like, charge on in and try and kill AlphaStar and lose his army, like so many Protoss players. He's just gonna. I'm just afraid he's gonna yeet his army into AlphaStar's just siege tanks. And I know I hate to use that term, but that's pretty much what we've seen a lot of Protoss players do. They're like, oh, I gotta attack this army, and then their army just gets obliterated by the mass siege tanks of AlphaStar. What we need to see is the Protoss player poking out, forcing earlier sieges like he's doing right now for the AI. Not attacking into all the tanks set up is what we really need to see. He's making Archons, which is good. He is going to have Psystorm finished up, but he hasn't made any High Templar. Instead, he's going for Archons, which I honestly don't mind. Some extra charge lots would be good to see. The Masters player could be in trouble, though, because the AI is getting closer and closer. He needs to buy as much time as he can by poking in, poking out. He also needs to get rid of these Banshees with his Blink Stalkers. There we go. Good blink by the Masters player. And maybe it's time for him to go north and try and go around to catch this army out, because his 4th base that he's getting is going to be under fire. And oh, he's being completely sieged up on. Now's the fight. Do or die, buddy. Here we go. The Protoss player attacks on forward. The Colossus are getting target fired down by AlphaStar's siege tanks, though, and there is just too much for the AI. The Protoss player not able to take the win here, not able to hold on. AlphaStar just going to shuffle its tanks forward. It's going to completely obliterate the Protoss force, and we will be seeing an AlphaStar victory in TVP. GG. Alright, so here we are into the next game, and we got another one of these mystery players. It's an unranked Protoss. Gonna be taking on AlphaStar, who is also Protoss, so it's a battle of the Protoss. For some reason, these two Protoss said, hey, you, I think you're a jerk. And then they decided to throw down. And so basically these two Protoss players are gonna be trying to kill each other. For one of them, they run the risk of getting angry on the ladder. They run the risk of smashing their keyboard. The other is just going through the motions because it's not actually alive. And so we'll see who's going to come out on top. Okay, gateway's on the way for both players. We'll see if AlphaStar is going to go for its 1-gate expand or whether it'll go for the double gate. It does tend to vary between, it would seem. Yeah, let's take a look. Probes on the way for both players. Assimilator on the way. Interestingly enough, the unranked player has actually gone for a low ground wall off, which is quite bizarre in my opinion. A low ground wall off in PvP is actually incredibly bizarre, so the fact the unranked player is going for this is really, really quite bizarre in my opinion. Looks like the unranked player is actually going to be going for a 1-gate expand with a low ground wall off. So we've got odd builds out of both these players. I'd say that the unranked player is playing a little bit more odd since he's gone for the low ground wall off, and I don't think that's something that you generally want to do in PvP because of force fields, because of being trapped out of, or trapped behind your wall and losing important buildings. So I find that a little bit odd, but you know, it's not something that's incredibly weird. And we've actually just got ourselves as much of a macro PvP as we can possibly have between these two. Just a 1-gate expand, and it's going to be like that Spider-Man pointing meme in which the human's pointing at AlphaStar and being like, hey, I'm the one going for the risky economic build. And AlphaStar will say, no, I'm the one that's doing it. This is my thing. So it's cool to see an actual human player doing this build. I'll see how he's going to approach it. Looks like we've got a Stargate on the way for AlphaStar and an Adept, whereas a Stalker for the unranked player, which is going to slow down his Stargate a little bit. And he's actually not going for a Stargate. He's going for a Robo already. So Robo versus Stargate tech is what we're going to be having. Very good economy is going to be going for both players soon. AlphaStar already chrono boosting out the probes, but then we see the unranked player also chrono boosting out his probes. So a very, very mirrored match for the most part. The tech is different, but the opening plan is the same. We see a shield battery going down for the unranked player. So he's just playing it very safe because he obviously doesn't know, as he hasn't scouted, what AlphaStar is going for. AlphaStar doesn't know either what the unranked player has gone for. So both these players kind of just playing it out how they want to. AlphaStar seems very confident not to go for an early shield battery, whereas the unranked player, I guess, just includes this in his build as the safety option. The two adepts for AlphaStar are going to shade on by into the main base of the Protoss. We see these adepts just going to get in, going to have to force some probes to be pulled. A bit of a misclick from the unranked player, accidentally targets his own Nexus for a second, and oh, he's going to be losing a lot of probes. It's always AlphaStar's adepts, man. Already killed like 7, 8 probes. They even shaded into the natural, so they're going to be killing more probes pulling against the adepts, but oh god, it's already 11 dead workers. Even when someone tries to macro against AlphaStar, it just doesn't work. Like, oh, this is horrible to watch. The Immortal with the cool skin, I don't remember what this skin's called, but it's very canon-y, this Immortal. We see another adept gonna shade in for AlphaStar. Whether it'll commit to that, I'm not sure, because the Oracle in the main base is cutting up more and more probes. We see the unranked player getting knocked down to 20 workers. So for all his economic efforts, he's having a really tough go. 17 probes dead by the 4-minute mark. It looks like we may be having an AlphaStar 2-0 today. These Stalkers gonna try and kill this one adept. The adept will actually get killed off, but I feel the damage has been done by AlphaStar. AlphaStar behind this is starting to make Phoenix. Is on a 43 worker count. Seems to be planning on getting up a 3rd as well. Oh my gosh, this AI is such a monster. Now let's take a look. There is indeed an observer on the way for the unranked player. I guess he'll get his observer over to AlphaStar's side of the map and say, oh, cool, you're probably going to be on 3 bases with a lot more workers. That's not good for me. As far as the unranked player knows, he doesn't even know what build AlphaStar has taken. So that's something, I guess. We see an Immortal in the wall with a shield battery, so that thing will probably never get cracked. Except an adept can shade through the Immortal towards the main base. So that's just sad times for the Protoss player. For the unranked player, however, his shield battery will prevent him from losing any more probes. He is trying to catch up in the worker count as he's still building workers, whereas AlphaStar is actually halted. AlphaStar seems happy at 46 until it maybe takes an expansion. We see the AI has got out a good Phoenix count now, though. Maybe going to move out on the map with them. Even throws up a Stasis Ward to cover the top of its ramp, which I do enjoy seeing. A Prism is on the way for the unranked player, so maybe going to try and make a play to get some counter damage done. However, I'm still a little bit concerned as, I mean, there's Phoenix out on the map for AlphaStar, so there's pretty much going to be guaranteed worker kills. He's already behind in workers, and he's got to do something in order to come back in the game. I mean, he's throwing up 4 or 5 gateways, so potentially going for a very aggressive 2-base play. The Phoenix come in, though. They're going to get guaranteed worker kills as Phoenix are just super tanky. They kill the workers very quickly, so sad times for the unranked player. He's going to reposition some of his units, but the Phoenix just come back in. They're actually going to lift up one of the Stalkers, which are slowly warping in. Lifts up 2, that's 2 dead Stalkers, grabs the probe as well. For good measure, the unranked player now down below 30 workers. Looks like he's just going to go for it. Go for a big attack against AlphaStar. But with the Stasis Ward, with the soon-to-be 2 Immortals of AlphaStar, all the Phoenix, I do not see a chance of this working for the unranked player. He's going to warp in Stalkers and give it the good old college try, though. I mean, it's going to be a tough attack to make happen, and if he goes up the ramp into the Stasis Ward, the game will just end. Alright, there's a chance, though. Let's see, what can he do? AlphaStar warps in 4 of its own Stalkers, so the numbers aren't on the unranked player's side, the defender's advantage isn't on his side. The units aren't really on his side, so I'm not sure what he's going to do to be able to win this game. He'll need like a godlike force field or something. AlphaStar is coming in with its Phoenix, going to be able to lift up the Immortals to remove pretty much all the damage from the unranked player's attack. The Immortals lifted up, getting killed. The Stalkers not going to stand on their own. AlphaStar has just bagged another dominating victory. Well done by the AI. Like, yeah, the AI has totally just crushed this guy. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. This was a bit of a shorter one today. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and you made it to the end of the video. Join the Discord, it's linked in the description. Also consider becoming a member if you do want to support the channel. We're currently aiming for 20 members. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.